Hey guys, welcome back to Kaku's Corner, and today I'm coming to you from my kitchen because I have another yummy recipe for you. So quick backstory to this. Randomly sometime last week I was craving, like seriously craving fish stew. I don't know why, but I figured that before they start chasing me in my dream with this fish stew, let me better cook it. So I decided to cook the Nigerian fish stew, and I recorded it so I can share with you, just in case, you know, if you're craving it and you don't want anybody to start chasing you in your dream with it, you can quickly cook this stew and keep them at bay. Anyway, so couple of things. First of all, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I would even appreciate it more if you considered subscribing. I try to upload 1 or 2 videos every week, and if you're one of my subscribers who's been around for a long time, then thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you're someone who's been watching my channel all this while and you haven't subscribed, okay, madam, why now? Subscribe down below, okay? And then if you like this video at all, then definitely give it a thumbs up. I would of course appreciate it as usual. And then one last thing. What's the last thing? And then one last thing, if you have any comments on this recipe or any other recipe that you'd like me to recreate in my kitchen, then I would really love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below for me and I will get back to you on whatever comment it is. Okay, so let's get into how I made this Nigerian fish stew in my kitchen. So for this, you'll need some tomato sauce, and I've made this just by using some fresh tomatoes, some red bell peppers, habaneros obviously, and some red onions. And pretty much I just blended this all together into a really nice smooth paste, and that's pretty much how I got my tomato sauce. And then next you'll need about a cup of oil. I use vegetable oil for this recipe. You'll also need some onions, and I'm using red onions for this as well. Some garlic cloves and some spices, and I'm using the Nigerian trifecta of curry, thyme, and rosemary. You'll also need some bouillon cubes, and I'm using the crayfish flavored ones. And of course you'll need some salt. And the star of this meal is the fish, and you can usually get this cut and cleaned from your grocer, but I always make sure to clean them some more and make sure there's nothing left in the fish itself, so it's perfectly clean and there's nothing on there at all. So to start off, you just boil the tomato sauce in a wide pan so that it can reduce to a thick paste just like this. And this will take a while. It might last for about 15-20 minutes depending on how much sauce you're trying to reduce, and so just be patient with it. Next, in a different saucepan, you pour in the vegetable oil and let that heat up. And then in order to know if it's heated up, you add in 1 piece of chopped onion, and if it sizzles, then you go ahead and add the rest of the onions. Next, you add in some salt, and then you just stir that in and let that cook in the oil for about a good 4 or 5 minutes. And then you add in the garlic, the freshly pressed garlic, and then let that cook as well for another 4 or 5 minutes. So at about 10 minutes in total of just sauteing the onions and garlic in over medium heat. Next, you go ahead and add in the tomato paste that has cooked and reduced over some heat, and just add that in. Once it's all added in, you go ahead and stir it and just let it cook over low to medium heat in all of that oil, because you need the oil to actually fry the tomato and take away the raw tanginess of the tomato. And so you just let it cook on medium heat for a while, and after about 10-15 minutes you go ahead and add in the spices and the bouillon cubes and stir that in and cover it up, and just let the tomato paste keep doing what it's doing and just cook for a nice long time, about another 10 or 15 minutes. But you need to keep stirring it and making sure that it doesn't start to stick to the bottom of the pot. So just keep stirring, and at this point you can see that the tomatoes have kind of separated from the oil itself. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's kind of separated, and that way you can tell that the tomato has cooked. And so that's when I go ahead and add in the fresh fish, and just place them in one at a time carefully. And once you do that, you don't want to stir too much because the fish is really tender. because it hasn't been fried beforehand, it's all like raw fish, it's going to be really tender. So don't stir it too much, just move it around in the pot if you need to, and just let it cook over low heat. And if you have to, you can add in some water just to help it cook a little longer. And that is pretty much it. About 15-20 minutes later, your tomato stew is done. And this is what it looks like. There's a lot of grease in the corner, and like I said earlier, we're going to get rid of it. And so you just take a spoon and scoop it all out very gently and just patiently, and just take all of that out, because that was necessary to cook or to fry the stew itself and give it the nice fried flavor that Nigerian stew is known for. And if you don't know much about Nigerian stew, I can tell you that it's kind of like the butter to our bread. We use stew for all sorts of different things, for rice, for yams, for plantains, for even to eat it with bread, you know, or with Nigerian soups to eat like fufu and things like that. So Nigerian stew is a very integral part of the Nigerian diet. And here I have served it with some plantains like I mentioned, and I also have it served with rice like I also mentioned earlier. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.